This is a video response to GenerationXeroFilms and his video, Turning the Damn Tables. And by the end of this video, I'm going to turn the damn tables on him. So, listen for that after I answer all his questions. Two reasons why I'm making this video. Number one, I wanted to make a video, but all of the stuff that I filmed over the weekend is not usable on this channel because it's probably copyright protected because I was at a music festival. And number two, I've been on a kick of trying to help out YouTube and our community by being more interactive. I had some really popular hashtag video series recently, and anyone who's going to make a video where they're trying to interact with other people, I'm all for it. We need that right now. So I'm going to respond to this one. So Andre asked 10 questions, and I'm just going to answer them right now. First one was, what would be my last meal on death row? I think we all know that the side would be Mountain Dew. That would be the most important part of the meal. But I think that whatever it is that I would have, I would want it to not be the thing that I just had the night before. You know, I'm all about variety. So something between a smothered burrito or a gyro, something like that, like a loaded gyro, like this big. Next question: who do I want as the next president of the United States, and why? In the current field that I see of people who are applying for the job, I would say that I want Hillary Clinton, and not for the reason that most people who want Hillary Clinton want her for. I want business as usual. Yeah, I have been a part of a lot of activism that Bernie Sanders is a supporter of those causes, but I like my change a little bit more slow and moderate than other people. So in order to keep business as usual and keep things chugging along and keep the world safe, you know, the world as I live it right now, I think I want Hillary Clinton. My main goal in life. What is my main goal in life? I'd say shoring up my life so I can do more shit like this all the time. And I think a lot of people lie to themselves about their goal. The goal is to not work anymore, to not be beholden to, you know, needing to put food on the dinner table and worry about your home. You know, that's the goal, is to remove yourself from all of those pressures. And nobody wants to work, you know, as far as like have the gun to their head of, if you don't work, you're not going to have a car or a house or, you know, food or anything. You know, people would rather, you know, work on their passions. And right now the goal of my life is being good enough at my job that I can, you know, one day not have to work at my job. What is the best show on TV right now? I would have to say, even though it was just canceled, Hannibal was the best show on TV. And the reason why I'm going to say that is it jumped the shark, and then it unjumped the shark. You know, there's very few shows that can do that with their writing. I like the show Aquarius. I like the way that they, even though they aired all the episodes, you know, with the regular break, you know, between each episode of a week on regular terrestrial stations, they offered it all in one big binge watching set, just like everyone's going towards on Netflix, and they offered that on NBC. So, yeah, I liked that, but I'd have to say Hannibal, because I didn't see anywhere for the storyline to go, and they, in my opinion, successfully righted that ship. And it sucks that they can't get the rights for the Clarice Starling character, because I think that had to do with why the show was canceled. You know, they couldn't go through the entire story of Hannibal without a lot of problems. So, what is the best movie of 2015? Well, the best one I've seen so far is a documentary called No Cameras Allowed. It was a little sappy, but I like the piracy angle of it. You know, the take what you want aspect of it. The movie that I want to see, though, I haven't been able to see, even though it's been out in limited screenings, and that is The Business of Recovery, because it's kind of an indictment of the occupation that I have. So I want to see it because I probably agree with a lot that's in it. Next question. What are you fucking sick of? I'm going to have to say people lying to my face. And this is not something that happens on YouTube. This is something that happens in my real life, where I can say, this is hypothetically, because I can't say a real instance. Say I caught somebody smoking their cigarettes. They're smoking the air, and I hear a knock in the trash can next to them. I go look in the trash can. There's a pack of cigarettes. You know, they got smoke all around them, and then I'm like, oh, come on, let's go give you your counseling for this. I work in a place where people can't smoke cigarettes. It's a healthcare facility, so I take them to the place where they got to get counseled, and you know, everything is being addressed, you know, depending on how bad it was, and the person will say something to me like, well, I wasn't smoking, smell my breath, you know, and like being dead to rights and still lying. Another example, hypothetically, might be somebody who contests the results of a urinalysis and makes me have to call a company to have a sample retested, and then when I get the results back, it's not only, you know, the initial finding, but a more exact finding, because when you ask for a retest, they go with that extra detail, so you don't just know like the category, like benzos or opiates. You know like exactly what they did, and you know, it's just delaying the inevitable, you know, and that lying to my face. It's I'm fucking sick of it, because there are some damn fucking good liars that I work with, that they will put on the convincing face, and it makes you not trust anyone's convincing face. You know, it will affect your real life when you work with liars. And addiction will make liars out of people. What was the last thing that I purchased? I believe it was a lamb pita at the Gentlemen of the Road Stopover Tour Music Festival, and it was during Jenny Lewis's set because I didn't like her music, and I was just waiting for Mumford and Sons to listen to that with my girlfriend. If you're talking about non-food item, it was a T-shirt for my girlfriend. So, or a shower. That would be a service. It wouldn't be a thing. But, anyways, shower was $10 at that festival. What can a person do to make me instantly hate them? I would say telling me that they are a great parent when I know that they've been absent from their child's life for a very long time. I work with a lot of criminal elements, and I see where people have shirked their responsibilities, their community responsibilities, and then they don't even think that there's anything wrong with that. You might have heard somebody else rant about trophies for participation lately, and I agree with that. But I think that it's more of a there once was a focus, especially in addiction counseling and therapy, but in school counseling and whatnot, there was for decades a focus on self-esteem, right? And what we have now, as a result of that self-esteem therapy and that focus, is that there are people who are wrong. They know they're wrong. They know they're doing wrong, and they feel good about it. You know, they don't feel bad for the bad things that they do. They have good self-esteem instead of they should have some problem with themselves, and they don't. And so when I see that makes me instantly not like a person. What can a person do to make me instantly like them? This is a strange one. Wake up in the morning and watch the news and start a pot of coffee. Let's say somebody's in a residential facility and 90% of the people there don't wake up when they are prodded and poked and, repeatedly they're woken up, over the course of an hour or two. But there's that one person who actually thinks that they're going to do something with their life when they get out, and they want to know what the weather is going to be. So they turn on the news, in the day room or in their own room. They turn on the news and then they start a pot of coffee. I work with people that it's a 50-50 chance that they will be alive in 5 years. And the people that I think will be alive, the weird correlation that I draw that may or may not be true, the people that I think that will be alive and are worth my time are the people who care about themselves enough to turn on the news in the morning. And that's what makes me instantly interested in that one person. Give that person my extra mile is, showing an interest in themselves. Last question was, how is your life going right now? I'm going to say I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I went through a very bad business decision, and it cost me a lot of money, and I've been putting my life back together, because if you start a business and you aren't working in the way that people normally want you to work, where you're building a resume and you can show work history. If you have a gap in your work history because you started your own business, then you're going to have to work on that, and I think I've gotten past that point right now where that's going to affect me anymore. But I still feel like I'm paying for what I did, you know, and the paying for it will be for another year or two, and then finally my life will be back on track. But I see light at the end of the tunnel, and I at least can see what I have to do. And there was a point where I didn't really have a plan in place, and that made me feel a lot more desperate and a lot more shut off from the world. But now I can see light at the end of the tunnel. So, the title of Andre's video was Turning the Damn Tables. And so he just ended a video series called Unpopular Opinions on his channel. And I have an observation for him, turning the tables on him, about that. How do you gauge whether a video or an opinion that you're going to have in that video is, in fact, unpopular? Because we're just going to go with the first one that you put out, the cultural appropriation video. 659 up thumbs, 14 down thumbs. Now that is 600 plus up thumbs more than your down thumbs. That's not an unpopular opinion. Okay? That's just something that maybe people are talking about at home and they just don't feel brave enough to say, but you said it, you know. Awesome. Every single one of your videos in the series has a favorable thumb to down thumb ratio. Okay? Every single one of them. Hundreds of up thumbs more than down thumbs. That's not an unpopular opinion. That wasn't you going out on a limb. That wasn't risky on your part in any way. You know, the first in the series was an unpopular end. Like, this was going to spell out some doom for your channel. No, it wasn't, because the stuff that you put out was not unpopular. It just, well, it was presented as unpopular. You know, it gave it a bit of edge that way, but really, as evidenced by the up thumb ratio on every one of those videos, you were speaking what you knew that your audience were going to get behind you on, at least for having an opinion. There were some topics that aren't talked about, you know, enough. You know, it's a lot better to talk about the topic that, you know, you go one way when you see everybody else going the other way. That's great, but they weren't unpopular, you know, and that was a selling gimmick on your part. If you take a look at the last video I put on my channel, which was Why I Am a Feminist, the thumb ratio right now stands at 31 up to 30 down, you know, and I think that's a lot riskier than what you did with your unpopular opinion series. And you kind of aborted it with the last video before the turning the damn tables. But I would like to see a really unpopular opinion come from you, and I don't know what it will be when you do find it, but when you do, you will know, as evidenced by the comments that you receive and the thumbs that you get. And if you get hundreds of thumbs to the positive versus the negative, then you're going to know that it was not really scratching a sore. It was not something that your subscribers didn't already feel, you know. I guess you could add to the list of things that I'm sick of is being sold products. And that might be a little bit of residue from that business decision that I made. I don't like sales pitches. And so when something's packaged as unpopular, I want it to be as labeled. Link in the description box to his video. Subscribe to GenerationXeroFilms. He's at least more interesting than half the people out there.